Hi guys, we're live today. I'm really excited about this, of course, always. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to jump in the room. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about how you are being initiated into your higher expanded self, okay? Hi guys, I'm gonna start in just a minute. I'm just gonna let you guys come into the room. Let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay before I get started. I'm really excited to be live. I have a really good topic today. So there's this reoccurring theme that's been happening. Hey guys, welcome in. And it is all about how we as a society have been getting triggered nonstop right now. Like just back to back to back to back to back to back, just constantly being triggered by the media, by our friends, by our family, by our environment. It's just a really thick, concentrated energy right now. And it's very strategic why we're feeling this right now. And we're feeling these triggers, these things that keep pushing our buttons and pulling us and, invoking anger in us. These things are happening right now specifically because it is asking you to expand into your higher excited self. Okay. So what a lot of us don't know is that we have stories or belief patterns that we're holding on to that is making us that is basically essentially becoming painful to us, so much so that as we're living in our day-to-day lives, things will just start triggering us and we think it's the thing, but really it's within us. Something within us is out of alignment or highlighting a certain situation where we think it's the outside world, we think it's the exterior, but really it's the interior. So I have some notes right here and I'm just going to read through them, and then if anybody has questions about how this specifically pertains to you and how you are expanding, I'm super open to answering that for you today. So the first thing I want to say or ask is, who's been triggered in the past month, the past week? How many of you guys have been triggered today? Okay. These things are happening for a reason, okay? You're being triggered because you're being given the opportunity to expand. Now, I know this sounds really backwards because typically when people get triggered, it is an opportunity for them to be on their worst behavior. Like, oh, I just got cut off on the side of the road, now I'm gonna be on my worst behavior. Oh, I just found out my boyfriend cheated on me, now I'm gonna be on my worst behavior. Or, you know what I mean? Just little things that happen in our lives that get us upset. Or, they believe in this political party instead of this one, I'm triggered. You know what I mean? Like, these things are happening because internally we have a story or a belief pattern that we are running on, and our higher evolved self is saying, hey, I'm bigger than this story. I'm bigger than what you're saying right now. Therefore, I feel triggered. I feel confined. You know what I mean? When I say triggered and I make this movement, it really does feel like you're tensing up. Like when you get angry, you're tensing up, you're crunching up. And not only are you doing that with your physical body, you're doing that with your energetic body as well. Okay, tensing up. So the importance of being triggered is understand that in your triggers, you are being given an opportunity to transmute that energy, okay? And what does transmute that energy means? It basically means that when you go through something that is triggering or traumatizing or traumatic or anything like that, and instead of acting in your default pattern way, so let's say, for example, as a child, you grew up and the way you saw your mother handle things was she was really snappy. She liked to curse people out. She liked to, like whatever. And so you adopted that as a child. And now when you grow up, when something bad happens to you, you feel the need to lash out, or you just go back to that story that you've been telling yourself that says, hey, if I want to be safe and protected, I have to lash out and snap back at people so that they know not to cross my boundaries. But that's just a story that we're telling. Okay. So I'm going to continue. So you're being triggered because the old story or belief is now causing you pain. So the old way that you used to think, the old version of yourself that you used to identify as, that version of yourself is too small. And the reason why you're feeling pain or triggers is because you're trying to expand beyond that belief system, that pattern, that whatever the case may be for you. So you feel triggered because you're energetic or emotional body is like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel good. And it's good when we have those emotional triggers that says this does feel good or this doesn't feel good, because this is how we basically maneuver. This is how we learn discernment, okay? Discernment is being able to hear a message and know if it's truth or false. Discernment is being able to listen to somebody speak and feel the integrity or the falsehood of what they're saying. That's discernment. So the significance of the energy body is you can discern through your energy body. If something feels good, it will feel open, expansive, like you're growing. When something feels bad, it will feel like a trigger, like you're shrinking, like you're contracting to protect yourself, okay? So this is how you learn how to discern. So, or this is like discernment is like one of the first empathic superpowers, because this is how you learn how to spot lies, how to spot truths, how to spot what's good for you, how to spot what's bad for you. It's all through discernment, and you learn discernment through the emotional body. So I'm going to continue. Like I said, when you're being triggered, it's because the story that you're telling is too small and you want to expand. So it's asking you to bring light into the darkness, or into a dark aspect of yourself. So I'm going to give you guys some examples so you can understand what I'm talking about. So for example, let's say you're in a toxic relationship and you know your relationship is toxic. Before you guys even were like a year in, you were like, you know what, this probably isn't good for me, but for whatever reason, you know, my soul chooses this experience, so we're going to do this thing, right? So understand that when you're in that toxic relationship and your partner is constantly triggering you, it's bad that they're triggering you, because obviously emotionally it doesn't feel good, but it also is a positive thing, because this is your emotional body saying, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. Something here is out of balance. Something here is out of alignment. Okay. So same thing. We can even use the example of like money. A lot of people are triggered by the fact that they don't have money or they have a lack of money. Okay. It's not a bad thing that you feel emotionally triggered that you don't have money. This is your body's emotional system saying, hey, wait a minute, it doesn't feel good to not have something. It doesn't feel good to be in lack. And so through experiencing that, it's kind of like juxtaposed, like, because I know I don't want that, now I can move in the direction of what I do want. So going back to that toxic relationship, like, yeah, nobody wants to be in a toxic relationship, but because you endured that relationship, not saying that you need to stay, but once you become aware and you see it for what it is, you can remove yourself from that predicament, because your emotional body, your discernment, your internal compass is like, hey, this doesn't feel right. And you can be like, oh, you're right, it doesn't feel right. So it's like stepping out of the 3D, stepping out of like the 3D, me as this physical 3D avatar body, right? And then it takes me stepping from the 3D and then stepping into the 5D. The 5D is me, my higher self, looking down, viewing the experience that my avatar is having here. Okay, so I don't have to associate with my negative experiences if I don't want to. I can look from my higher self's perspective, look down and say, dang, she is struggling. She is having a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, why is she having a hard time? And so viewing it like this, you're able to come up with solutions from a higher perspective. Whereas if you look at your situation from the 3D perspective from where you are, it's going to look funky. It's going to look crazy. It's going to look a mess. And you're going to feel overwhelmed by everything that's transpiring around you. And you're going to be like, I can't do this. This is too much. Okay. So that's the significance of taking yourself out of your 3D lower self perspective and start viewing your situations from the 5D as if you're your higher self viewing and analyzing the situation. So another example, let's say you're driving down the street and somebody cuts you off and you get really heated and frustrated because like they almost crash into you and you're like, that's not okay. Okay. You can be triggered and you can take it out. You can start honking your horn. You can start acting crazy. Or you can view it from the 5D perspective, looking down on your 3D self and say, man, you almost got in an accident because they were being reckless. You know, I'm not going to be nasty to that person for being reckless, but I am the higher self viewing myself having this experience. Okay, so this kind of gives you a little bit of leverage or a little bit of an advantage point when you're starting to deal with things in your reality that become triggering. And just in case you guys didn't know, like I said in the beginning of the video, we are in the time where we're going to be getting triggered again and again and again and again and again, because we have been running on false programs and false timelines that are not in alignment with our highest quality of living, our highest expression of living. So understand, when you're experiencing these triggers, it's your higher self saying, I want to expand. I want to evolve. I want to move into a space that feels better. I want to move into, like, I just want to be better. I want to expand. Okay, so this is what I mean when I'm talking about your triggers are like an initiation into the higher version of yourself that you're meant to be. So no longer should you be getting upset when you have a trigger. From now on, when you have a trigger, you need to get excited and be like, you know what? I want something to trigger me right now because I'm due for an upgrade. Start seeing triggers as energetic upgrades. If you can learn to not pop off and just sit with the energies that you feel, even if you're feeling sad or depressed or lonely, if you just hold space for the emotions that you're feeling, not to be like, I want to feel this way forever, but just see the human experience is meant to witness. We're here to witness. We're experiencing these things to witness and to hold space for them. Even the worst things that can happen, even the best things that can happen, we're here to hold space for it. So again, like if you're in that situation where you're just feeling lonely, like I just feel so lonely. Why do I feel so lonely? Understand that you're not going to feel that way forever. And maybe you are experiencing that because something in you is telling you that you need to seek external validation so that you can feel better about yourself. And therefore you feel triggered. Feeling lonely to you is a trigger. It doesn't feel good. Why does it not feel good? Because you subconsciously are running a story that says, I have to seek external validation so that I do not feel lonely. But once you spot the story that you're telling yourself, once you spot the story that the trigger is telling you, okay, once you spot it, you can change the story. Understand, we are the original technologies. We are the original computers. So just like with a computer, you can download softwares, applications, and things like that into the computer. You can do that to yourself as well. Through indoctrination, religion, the school system, all these things, we have been indoctrinated. So now we're running on programs that are inorganic to our higher self, to our expanded self. Therefore, we're going to be experiencing things that are really triggering. And we're going to be triggered so that we can expand and say, wait a minute, the story I was telling was keeping me this big. I feel triggered because I'm meant to be this big at this point. But for whatever reason, I keep telling this little story. You get what I'm saying? So understand that through the triggers, through spotting the story behind the trigger and changing the story or changing the belief system behind the story that caused you to be triggered, you can begin to expand. You can begin to transmute energy. You can begin to feel lighter. You can begin to be unfuckwittable. Unfuckwittable is no matter what chaotic things are happening in your environment or around you, you are so grounded and secure in who you are, and nothing can stop you from being the amazing, expanded, excited creator that you are, okay? So this is the significance of this triggering initiation. We are all being initiated. If you are not being initiated, AKA if you are not being triggered right now, you are not growing right now. Okay, triggers lead to growth, and it's really crazy that it has to be that way. But again, if you did not have 23 cents in your bank account that one time, would you have felt the urgency or the need to come up with that business idea or to, expand your ability to make more money? Like if you didn't hit rock bottom, would you be trying to strive to the top? Probably not. A lot of people have to hit rock bottom before they can realize, hey, I'm not supposed to be here. Hey, being down here really sucks. Hey, being down here is hurting me. It energetically does not feel good. I feel yucky down here. Oh, I'm down here because I have this belief system that this is where my worth is. This is where, you know what I mean? But I know I'm worth more. Okay, so what am I really worth? And then this is you transmuting that story, changing the narrative so that you can further expand. Okay, this is the initiation that we're all going through. And it's an initiation to bring us closer to our higher selves, our expanded selves. So if you think about it, there is a version of yourself that is living the lifestyle of your dreams. doing the things that you want to do, living in your full purpose, being inspired, being a blessing and a value to other people. There is a version of you who is vibrating so high that everything you could possibly want, the car, the house, the partner, everything is fulfilled at that level on that timeline, okay? And the way to get to that version of yourself is by expanding, 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 expanding. Okay, so the triggers are telling you, hey, it's time for me to expand. This tank that I'm in is too small. It's too small. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. Once I was having dinner with my partner's parents, and sometimes it can be a little bit awkward for me because, like I really try to put my best foot forward. I try to be, like everyone, I don't know, sometimes feel some type of way around their partner's parents. But I noticed myself feeling triggered every time I would get around my partner's parents. And then I realized it was because I was telling an underlying story that I'm viewing my worth and my value through how they see me. I'm feeling triggered. I don't want to go over because I don't want to feel questioned about, you know, what do you want to do in 5 years? What do you want to do in 10 years? Who are you trying to be? Like trying to size me up to see if I'm good enough for their son. You know what I mean? And then I realized I was being triggered in that way because I was sizing myself up. Okay? Triggers have nothing to do with the outside world and everything to do with the story you're telling inside. Every time you get triggered, it's basically holding a mirror up to yourself to say, hey, there's some undealt with trauma still within you, okay, within your body, within your resonance field, and I'm going to trigger you so that I can remind you that this is here. And I only want to remind you that this is here so that you can clear this out, so that you can be okay with it, so that you can change the story, so that you can continue to expand and evolve. So I really hope that makes sense. I'll give you guys one more example about that. Another example is you find yourself constantly being triggered by somebody that you considered a friend. Okay, so there are a lot of people who are expanding, evolving, and realizing their old friend groups are not in alignment with them anymore. And so you will find yourself still trying to hang out with those people, still make those people happy, still try to fit into those crowds. And you'll notice when you do that, you get triggered every time you get into those situations. Why? Because this is your higher self saying, hey, I'm bigger than this. I'm ready to expand past this. I'm no longer a vibrational match to my circumstances. And it is painful for me to stay here. So I'm going to feel this pain until I change the story, change my belief so I can expand. Okay? And when I'm talking about expanding, I'm talking about bringing more light, bringing more awareness into the story that you're telling yourself. Okay? We are already infinite beings, but we have put a cap or a limit on ourselves. Instead of running on the program of abundance, we've been running on the program of lack. And so therefore we're getting triggered because it is showing us where we still have lack inside of us. We are still experiencing lack within our bodies. Therefore, the outside world is a projection of what we're experiencing inside. Once you fix the inside, once you address what needs to be addressed on the inside, that changes the experience you have on the outside, okay? Hence the initiation we're all going through. And for some people, it's going to be more triggering than others. Some people have already gone through a lot of their initiation and gone through transmuting their shadow self and gone through, you know what I mean? Like meeting that child version of yourself where they were and helping that little person who was once you to expand. There is a part of you that is still that childlike self that is within you that is ready to expand. Okay, so when you feel hurt and pain and strife and struggle from the situations that you're enduring, understand it's because it's time for an upgrade. You're due for an upgrade. When you feel pain and struggle and strife in your life, it's because it is a signal that you are due for an upgrade, and it is painful for you to keep replaying the same old story that you've been playing again and again and again and again. Okay, so when you experience triggers, it's basically like saying time for a new story. Okay, it is painful for me to continue to be poor. It's time for a new story. It is painful for me to be in this relationship that's no longer serving me. It's time for a new story. Okay, Whatever that means for you. You are your own guru. So you have to be the one to look at your triggers and say, oh yeah, this was caused from this experience in my childhood, or this was caused because this person said this to me and it made me feel like that. It is up to you to analyze these things so that when it happens again, because it's going to keep happening until you no longer get triggered by these things, and then you know you have passed the test or passed your initiation, okay, that's just how it's going to be happening. So let me continue. So like I said, everything is just a shining more awareness on yourself. You're not mad at the fact that you got cheated on. You're mad at the fact that you had an expectation that was not abided by your partner, okay? So it's just like, and I heard this from Kyle Cease. I've been really loving his content lately, but he was saying that like when, like for example, let's say you're in a relationship and you get cheated on, your heart's not broken because you got cheated on. Your heart is broken because you had a list of expectations and rules for that person that you wanted them to abide by. And when they did not abide by it, it broke your heart or it broke your expectations. Okay. So it's just a way to disassociate from, oh, this person didn't break my heart. I just told them I didn't want them to text other people, or I didn't want them to, you know, sleep with other people. And they did that and they broke my expectation. Not making excuses, not saying it's right. Heck no, it's not right. But you have to understand where you're trying to take power from other people. And then you just have to put yourself in a better position to be like, you know, like viewing everything from the 5D perspective, looking down at your 3D avatar. So let's say you're in that predicament and you're like, man, my 3D avatar is so sad because she had a set of expectations that she gave to somebody and they did not abide by those expectations. Oh, so it's not that I'm bad or I'm wrong or I'm worthless. It's just my rules are not being upheld. Oh, okay. Well, maybe this just isn't the person to uphold these rules. Maybe I, you know, or maybe I shouldn't have rules. And something else that Kyle C said was like, you just have to trust people to unfold and expand the way they're going to expand. So let's say you did end up in that predicament. It's like you can be triggered that that happened to you, or you can say, you know, man, this, I'm expanding past a relationship where this happens. I'm expanding past this. I don't want this to happen to me anymore. Or don't even say I don't want it to happen to me anymore, because then that's you resisting, again, holding on to that pain. You say, I allow myself to feel this in my body right now, and I know it's not right. I'm acknowledging that it's here. And now I'm ready to transmute this energy. So this is, again, you viewing your life from a higher perspective so that you no longer get trapped up in the lower dimensional things that happen. So that when this happens and you transmute that energy, you're going to be able to manifest faster because you're becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And the lighter you become, the faster things can come to you because you're not holding on to all this energetic baggage, okay? So yes, move past the old stories that you're telling yourself, and remember that everything is a mirror helping you to understand your old identity, okay? So it's easy to change an old identity. Once you spot the pattern, the hardest thing is spotting the patterns. The hardest thing is saying, oh yeah, I do have control issues. Oh yeah, I do have an anger issues. Oh yeah, I do have money issues. The hardest part is spotting that within yourself. And then when you spot it within yourself, you no longer have to be triggered. You can say, oh, I've been running on a program that says playing small is safe, or being broke is safe, or getting cheated on is safe because I'm the victim, and the victim gets cared for and coddled for. So my old story used to keep me safe, but now I'm experiencing pain from this story because my higher self is trying to expand beyond this story, beyond this belief system, okay? So I have a few more things to say. I'm almost done. But just understand you're going to continue to be getting triggered because now is the time to expand. Through your triggers offers expansion. And it's really sad that we as humans have to be so dense as to experience fall to propel us higher. But if you think about it, how are you going to know you want to go higher if you're not unsatisfied with what you currently have? Okay, you have to be triggered if you want to expand. So understand, every time you get triggered, it's an opportunity for an upgrade. And the last two things I wanted to say are, if you didn't experience having that pain point, you would never expand to your full potential, or even better or higher, okay? And then also, don't get caught up in the triggers. See yourself from the 5D perspective, looking down at your 3D self having an experience, okay? And when you do that, you can course correct from a higher perspective, and you can check in with what your higher self would say. You could be like, oh, my lower self, or my 3D lower version is experiencing pain, turmoil. You know, she's going through it. Why is she going through it? And course correct from that higher perspective. Okay, remove yourself from the situation. And I know it's hard because we are here. Okay, but understand that you're an infinite being, which means that when you have to return this body to the ground that it came from, or to the dirt, okay, because you're not going to get to keep this body, this avatar forever, but you will get to keep your soul and your consciousness forever. When you return this body to the ground, you will just want to live in, you will just get so much out of living in your highest experience, okay? Your highest expression. And the reason why you're getting triggered is because you're being asked to live bigger, to live bolder, to do something wilder, okay? Be more creative, be more intuitive about your movements, okay? So the last thing I'm gonna say is, we are being initiated into our excited, expanded selves, because we are transmuting our triggers into light. So every time you are feeling a trigger or the need to constrict within your body, this is you noticing a darkness within yourself, or somewhere where you need to shed light on yourself. So let's say, like, you get triggered and you're feeling jealous, you're feeling envious inside, okay? This is your emotional body having a little flashlight and shining a light on the part of yourself that feels insignificant, because you think that you're going to feel better about yourself when you have that thing that the person that you feel jealous of has, okay? Everything, we are showing ourselves that we are worthy without the external world, okay? Our worth comes from within. You are worthy when you were born into this world, and there is nothing that you can do to take that away or ruin your reputation or anything like that. Your worth is just there. Abundance is just there. It's there. It's there for everyone. It's there for all of us. We've forgotten that it's there for all of us, and that it's, you know, that it's a thing. Therefore, we live smaller. We live smaller because we think it's safer to live smaller, okay? The smaller we make ourselves, the more stories we can tell ourselves of, I have to be protected. I can't get hurt. I have to be protected, okay? It's our ego's way of trying to protect us, because yeah, expanding is scary. But when you expand, the bigger you get, the more you expand, the more light you can take in. So that's the good thing about transmuting these triggers, transmuting the darkness within yourself into light, because you can shine brighter, expand bigger, enjoy your life better because you chose to expand, okay? So this video is getting kind of long now, so I'm about to wrap it up. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them before I wrap it up. The last thing I want to say is, when you liberate yourself from the old stories, you are simultaneously healing your bloodline. So that is the significance of transmuting this energy right now, and of allowing ourselves to be triggered, but transmuting the energy, allowing ourselves to feel the pain, the disappointment, the worthlessness, allowing ourselves to feel it, make room for it, acknowledge it's there, so that we can change the story, so that we can shine light on it, so that we can disperse the darkness, okay? This is significant not just for you, but for your bloodline, for your children, for your children's children, for your ancestors. Like, your ancestors, you didn't even know this, but your ancestors went through their own trials and tribulations so that you could be the version of yourself that you are now, okay? And maybe you're holding on to things subconsciously that your ancestors had to deal with that they never got to transmute it. So you're holding on to the spirit of procrastination or depression or whatever the case may be. You're still holding on to it because through your lineage, this was a problem. And now it's been given to you because you are meant to transmute this energy. And I know it's hard, it's heavy, it's tough, it's thick. Nobody wants to have to do the hard work. People want to have a nice, easy, smooth sailing life. And I know why, because it's not very expansive at all. It's very safe. It's very comfortable. Okay. But understand that when you do the hard work, when you go within your shadow and transmute the darkness within yourself, when you learn to stop being triggered by the things that are happening around you, you're doing it not only for you, but for your children, for your children's children, for your children's children's children, for the people to come, for the collective. Don't even think about just your bloodline. Think about okay. We as a collective, we've created this reality because collectively we've created this timeline because of the stories that we're running off of. Okay. So many of us have the same story that now our story is just intertwined into a thick rope. Okay. A timeline. So let's say we're experiencing a lot of lack, a lot of poverty, a lot of scarcity mindset. It's because collectively as a majority, the majority of us are weaving this web of there's not enough. I'm in lack. There's scarcity. You know what I mean? Creating this cord of consciousness that is now the timeline that we live on. But we have the power to change that. And it happens on an individual level. If you yourself change the story and say, I'm abundant and I'm expanding and I am, you know what I mean? Like just saying really amazing positive things about yourself, but really feeling it and knowing it to be true, you're going to help yourself to expand. You're going to help the consciousness to expand because I have a thought that says I'm abundant and everyone else in the world is abundant too because I'm holding this resonance. I'm shooting this thought out into the electromagnetic field and somebody else can pick it up now because I've thought it. If they're on that high frequency that I'm on when I think that thought, they can pick up that thought. Just like if somebody's on a low vibration and they're having negative thoughts and they shoot those thoughts out into the electromagnetic sphere, someone can pick that up. And the thought might not even belong to that person, but because they were vibrating at the same frequency that that thought existed on, you picked it up. Okay? Same thing goes with these belief patterns. We're getting triggered because we've picked up belief patterns that are incorrect to the organic programming of our human technology, okay? So, said all this to say that be really excited when you experience these triggers because you are due for an upgrade. And that is all that is telling you. You don't need to read any further into it. You don't need to say, well, what does this mean about me? And what does that mean about me? And what does this mean about my family? And what does this, like, stop over analyzing your situation and just understand that you're going through some shit so that you can course correct because your compass is set in a direction that is like contracting in space, okay? So when you notice that you're getting that contracted, sad, sunken feeling, that is your ding, 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 ding from the emotional body to say, course correct, move in a different direction, expand. You don't have to keep shrinking. You can expand, okay? So that is what I wanted to say. And in another video, I will talk to you guys about how to follow your highest excitement. So this video is about how the triggers are the initiation into your highest excitement. In another video, I'll talk about how to follow your highest excitement now. So now this is essentially talking about what to do with that expanded energy, what to do with that expanded light, what to do when you have the energy to really show up as your highest and truest self, okay? There's so much more that we can do and experience, though, because we're not on our highest wave of consciousness, because we're not, basically, through meditation, you are able to reach higher states of knowing, okay? So let's say regularly right now, if you are, if you were going through a problem right now and you were to ask yourself, what do I do to get out of this situation from a non-meditative state, you are going to get the lower 3D version of the answer of what you should do. But if you take the time to stop and meditate and align with your higher self, the version of yourself who's already conquered every single obstacle you could ever possibly create for yourself, once you tune in and plug into that higher alignment, now you can begin to receive answers to your questions that are expansive and not from a place of lack or of scarcity. Okay? So that is what we're basically trying to do right now. 2020 to 2021 to 2022 to 2023 to even to 2024, with all the things happening in the world of like COVID and vaccinations and political fraudulency and you know what I mean, like the deep state and everything, just everything coming to the light to trigger us so that we as a collective consciousness can course correct and can move into a direction that feels lighter and more expansive. Okay, so I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that it will give you some insight on what to do next time you feel triggered, and to not take the bait and to see it as an opportunity to upgrade. Every trigger is an opportunity to upgrade, 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 upgrade. Just keep getting better and better and better and better. Okay, so if you guys like this content, please thumbs up the video as well as share it so that we can get it to more people. And just let me know if you guys are watching the replay, if you like this kind of content, because I'm thinking about again changing the format and types of videos that I make from kind of willy-nilly everything to just kind of more motivational style content, because I feel like that's just what's needed right now, and I'm really trying to step up and answer the call that I feel like I'm being called to do. So instead of making my mundane videos about like hair and nails and yada yada yada, I'll still do that, but I'll have to find somewhere else to put that content, because I just feel like there's a higher calling, and it's just a time for people to be creating so that we can be expanding. And I'm just, you know, tired of creating senseless content that kind of just keeps getting recycled and it's not really helping anybody grow or expand. I just feel like it's just time for us to grow and expand, and I want to use this platform and the things that we've been given, this technology and things like that, to help us as a humanity to evolve. And I think that's what we all can be doing, you know, finding our gifts and talents and how we want to serve and add value to the collective, and start doing it, start showing up for each other, and start teaching each other how to expand, how to evolve, how to reach that state of abundance and stay there and be locked in and dialed into that resonance. So I'm really excited about that. I don't know about you guys. I have one announcement that I wanted to make, and that is that I want to start doing group coaching sessions, or like a group style of basically we're going to be manifesting together, or basically chatting with each other about what we're manifesting, what we're creating, who we're trying to be, how we're expanding. And I'll give you guys more info about that to come. But if you would be interested in something like that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notifications, and also comment down below and let me know. You can also email me at nijasim@gmail.com if you're interested in this, because I am going to start rolling out the first round of group coaching so that we can learn from each other and expand together, because I feel like it's just really time to create a space where we can manifest together, grow together, expand together, and I don't know, just create a little pocket, a little network where we are creating abundance in the matrix. So I'm excited about that, and I hope you guys are too. And that is all I have to say today. Feel free, if you guys have anything that you want me to chat about in the near future, to leave your recommendations in the comments below. Like I said, I'm going to start to try to cater my videos to be more inspiring and motivational, just because I feel like that's what we need right now. All right, so I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Again, thumbs up the video if it was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.